morning. Hey, everybody. We are on the penalty phase of the Jose Soto-Escalera trial. Day one. I hope it's not very many days long. My redirect did work, Marty, because it worked on my laptop. It redirected me to my own stream on my laptop. So it worked. I'm sorry it didn't work for you. It worked for me. What happened to James Vanderbeek? Did I miss something? Is he sick? What's going on? Hey, Carla. Hey, Marty. Hey, Judy. Where's Wiggles? Did she get lost? She got lost. On December 21st, let me start that again. On December 21st, 2018, the St. Lucie Sheriff's Office teamed up with Santa to visit an 8-year-old boy who's preparing for his first Christmas without his mom, Tania Wise. Santa left him with a whole table full of presents. Elizabeth Bodea, Tanya's mom, got a little emotional as Jamar got his presents. She currently has custody of Jamar, who is now 15. That is so sad. Oh, she's hiding. Okay. I gotta tell you, one of the highlights of my job as a pediatric nurse was working Christmas Eve because I worked night shift, and we got to put out the, you see Toys for Tots collections, where people donate wrapped toys or even like toys in a box, unopened toys, to be wrapped, and then volunteers wrap them or whatever. Well, we would get the wrapped presents, and then I can't remember. I think they were designated boy presents, girl presents, like if they were dolls or trucks or whatever. And then we would put them in the kids' rooms on Christmas Eve. So they would, but the bad part of that was it was a joy to put them out. The only problem was we didn't get to see the kids wake up and see them because they were still asleep when we left because it was night shift. But it was a joy to be able to do that. I miss that. I love that. That was my favorite thing. So I never hated working on Christmas Eve because I loved getting the presents out for the kids. I just wish. Oh, I didn't know it was a motorcycle thing. That's cool. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Thanks, Carla. That is cool. But yeah, toys everywhere. And like they didn't just get one. They got like 3 or 4 a piece. It was and not all of these kids were kids that weren't going to get toys. So um but then some of them were, you know, like indigent or even kids that had nobody there. They were there because they were sick and they didn't have anybody, which that always broke my heart too. We had one baby that was in there for months and months, and he had nobody. And a whole bunch of us wanted to adopt this kid. He lived at the hospital for months.
We were going to be instructing the jury. The jury clerk apparently told our 4 alternates who reported downstairs that they were not needed and sent them home. They're being retrieved. One of them, I'm told, is 30 minutes out, but that was 5 minutes ago. Lacey Clark. But we're also trying to get the Zoom to work on the courtroom, but that'll be working when we need it.
Why'd they send the alternates home?
Mr. Burns wanted to address some scheduling issues, though, which we have an opportunity to do that now since we're not ready with the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why'd they send the alternates home? Who did that? Stupid.
Roughly 2/3 or thereabout of our anticipated penalty phase witnesses. This is due to the public nature of the trial and the attendant social media yammering about it. I have many witnesses who have been contacting me since the verdict saying I can't do it. People are saying things already. I'm going to get mean comments. I'm going to get trouble at work. People are going to look at me crosswise. It's not the type of situation that could be remedied by serving them with subpoenas and bringing them in here. In this circumstance where I'm begging for a man's life, I can't have witnesses shooting daggers at me 90% of the time and spending the other 10% of the time glaring at Jose. If they don't want to be here, I cannot use them, is the practical nature of it. So my plans have been quite upset in the past few days, but I'm going to have to work with what I have. What I have at this point is a prison expert who is available to testify remotely this afternoon beginning at 1 o'clock. He's available at any time from 1 to 5. I have a lady who knows Mr. Soto-Escalera in previous years. She, I think, can come and testify in person this afternoon. That is all I have ready for this afternoon. I do have, I believe, 4 of Mr. Soto-Escalera's family members flying down from Connecticut. I thought that they were getting on a very early flight this morning. It turns out they're not leaving from LaGuardia until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I will not have a chance to interview them and find out exactly what they are going to say.
I thought we were doing this by Zoom.
And whether it will be contradictory to other people in the family as to what they have to say. There is some difference in perception between older members of the family and youngers. And so I'm not sure who of the 4, maybe all, maybe 1, maybe 2, that I will end up using. Mr. Richardson, of course, has expressed an interest in deposing these witnesses beforehand. So I'm not sure what exactly I'm...
Dude, what did you do Monday and Tuesday? Seriously. Oh my God.
Suggesting there, but it's going to be a late night for me and Ms. Minton. These witnesses would presumably be available to testify tomorrow. And that's about as much as I can update the court right now.
And Judge, can we just approach for a bench conference, because I don't want the rest of this that I need to lay on the record aired on Court TV.
Sure.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. What was the first part about people yammering about it on social media and people glaring at his client? He killed a pregnant woman. Yeah, people are gonna glare at him. People are gonna get in trouble at work. What is he talking about? This is a murder trial, a death penalty murder trial. Dude, suck it up. You're supposed to be a death penalty lawyer. You know how to not get glared at? Don't kill a pregnant woman. Why'd they make you turn the lights out? Hey, Robbie. This is ridiculous. They might as well not even do anything today. I the the it was considered a moving distraction. So, because I'm speechless. I can't even get a whole sentence out. I start to speak and then I go, This is ridiculous. Gee. Yeah, those lights in the snow probably saved your life, Marty. Oh. I'm so sorry, Robbie. Hope you feel better. I hate going to the dentist. I need to go. I haven't gone in years. I need a partial plate. That's why you guys see the gaps that I have is because I've lost back teeth. My teeth, I had braces, so my teeth used to be completely straight. And then I started losing back teeth. And so now my front ones are moving because it has room to move, and so I have gaps. I need to get a partial plate. It's not going to move my front teeth back, but at least it'll fill in the empty spots. I have a couple over here that need to be pulled. But I hate going to the dentist. I don't want any more pulled. Oh, you think, Tootie? Maybe. Prosecutor ready to go?
It's discussed here at the bench. One of the lawyers has advised me they think that one of the jurors' physical appearance was broadcast in violation of the court rule. Don't know whether that's true or not, but I do want to re-advise the media not to do that at any point, not to show the faces of the jurors. All right, so that's understood in that regard? Okay. And any word on our extra 4 alternates? We're still waiting on one. Okay. Well, let's go off the record. Let's give the Zoom a try globally as far as that's concerned. So my plan would be, based on what y'all told me, we would do whatever we can this morning with the states. The state has victim impact. Does the state have any other evidence other than the victim impact?
That's all.
Okay, so we would do the victim impact. Then what would be the earliest that your prison expert or the other witness would be available?
1 p.m., Judge.
1 p.m. so that we would break till 1 p.m. do that. We would reconvene tomorrow, hoping to get those witnesses on that flew down tomorrow morning. And if you needed some extra time to talk to them briefly, we might be waiting for jurors as we were doing right now. We would do that, and then perhaps we would have the closings either later in the morning or early afternoon, and we would just go that. So it's not a major adjustment to our schedule, right? Does that sound?
Did you say closings today?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
Tomorrow afternoon.
The only,
Doesn't that accommodate everything for the defense? I believe it does, because you have your people, have their people flying in today, and then you'd have them tomorrow, and we were able to do the closings tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, I could probably survive it, Judge, yes.
Yeah, why not?
so to be clear, tomorrow morning I would have an opportunity to at least speak to these folks. And
Yeah, if they're here,
They
and-
present
yeah.
their evidence, and then we just close in the afternoon. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine with the state.
So that would be the plan,
Yeah. that
to
works.
accommodate the communication snafu regarding the witnesses flying down. That's what caused us the difficulty logistically. And let's get the Zoom straightened out, though. We don't have all of our 16 jurors yet. All right. I'm going to go off the record momentarily.
We are caught up with the live, so I can't zoom. I want to know what idiot told the alternates to go home. If I was the alternate, I would have said, no, we are supposed to be here for the penalty phase. That's what the judge said. I'm not leaving until you go check and make sure. What kind of fundraiser, Nichelle? I remember when I was in high school, we had a classmate that had cystic fibrosis. And at the time, I had no idea what it was. I just knew that he didn't come to school very often. He was tutored at home a lot. And every once in a while, he would come to school. And then there was a fundraiser, and it was a bike. It was like you went around and got donations, so much for however many miles you biked. And I helped. I didn't bike, but I helped by being one of the people along the route that like gave out water or whatever. I don't even remember. And the kid that had cystic fibrosis, it was a fundraiser for cystic fibrosis, and he rode his bike in it. And I remember thinking, if he's sick with this and he's sick all the time and hardly comes to school, how is he able to ride a bike? I didn't know what it was. Like, I had no idea. And then grew up to be a pediatric nurse and took care of kids with that. And then learned that this kid that I went to high school with had it, and that the nurses that I worked with had taken care of him, and that he was dead. And I didn't even know that he died or anything. Oh, that's cool, Michelle. This weekend we are raising money for military families and college scholarships. What's a readathon? I could do a readathon. Easy. Don't make me walk or run or ride a bike, but I can do a readathon. But yeah, cystic fibrosis, that's another bad one, man. I've taken care of a lot of cystic fibrosis patients. They rarely
Some,
live
if not
past
most,
childhood.
of our Connecticut people will be speaking in Spanish. We will need an interpreter for that.
Okay, court certified interpreter.
And Judge will need them here at 8:30 because the state intends to interview our witnesses at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow
Okay.
morning, so that the interpreter can interpret for the state.
Thank you.
Let me show who's in charge of the interpreters now. But I will let Deputy Court Administrator know. It looks like you're getting in now. Yep. So what I'm going to do, Tim, I'm going to leave it on, but there'll be no audio for them, but I'll just, actually, now that we're good, before we break, we'll restart it because it times out. So I'll just shut it off, but we've got the Zoom working now. Okay. You go off the record. We'll start.
Oh, Steve. The court will be at a brief recess, as you were.
All parties present. I think I need to tell the jurors when they're not ready to come in yet, but when they do come in addition to re-admonishing them about the media coverage and not to talk to anyone, I should tell them there are timeline. What I think is, it's going to be a little quick this morning. We're going to have some witnesses this afternoon, have witnesses tomorrow morning, then the case will be argued to them tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, they're going to come in here for all of about 15, 20 minutes, and I'm going to release them to 1 o'clock, and they're going to be wondering what the heck is going on and maybe start getting concerned about their own time. So if I do that, it's kind of preparing them for what's going to happen. Is that all? What I'll say is, I'm thinking of saying, because as they'll see, there's a lot of logistics involved with the nature of this proceeding. It takes some maneuvering and adjusting,
Yeah,
and that's
Judy,
what's
there
caused
should
the
be.
situation. They shouldn't be concerned about that. And just once they know, we'll have the case submitted to them tomorrow afternoon. They should be fine. All right, we're still waiting for that other juror to come up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go off the record.
Unless
She's there? Okay. Oh, okay. All right, so it looks like you've got a few minutes to prepare your video, audio, which you're preparing.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is boring. I don't know if the alternates are mad. If it'd been me, which I already told y'all what I would have done, but I would have been like, no, the judge said we had to be here for this. Whoever told him to go home needs to be reprimanded. That ticker on the bottom just said that he would face the death penalty. That's not what this is. This is to see if he will face the death penalty. Penalty phase. Florida v. Jose Soto-Escalera will now face the death penalty for the murder of his pregnant mistress, Tania Wise. Hearts don't have lumps. Thank you for that word of wisdom, Marty. That's very good advice.
All right, let's bring in the jury. We'll get started.
Judges don't like to do sanctions, I've noticed. A lot of times, I feel like sanctions are appropriate. But it doesn't seem like the judges want to do that. Except for what's his name in Atlanta that makes lawyers write essays. And throws lawyers in jail, but he got in trouble for that.
All right, the jury is present. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And before we get started, at this juncture in the trial, I know that I have drilled into your heads, hopefully successfully, to be sure to avoid any media coverage of the case. Also, not to talk to anyone about the case, including your fellow jurors, although you know we're past deliberations in the guilt phase, but that rule applies now too at this time. Don't talk to each other about this point in the trial until you go back to deliberating the case. But because of the vast media attention that this case has attracted, I want to be absolutely sure to reiterate to you, although I think I've got the message clear once again, in an abundance of caution, please don't talk to anyone about the case. And I appreciate that you are following the court's instructions in that regard, so that you base this part of the proceeding only on the evidence presented in court that you've already heard in the guilt phase of the trial and that you will be hearing during the sentencing phase. Before we get started and I give you instructions about this part of the proceeding, I do want to tell you in advance, give you an idea of logistically, procedurally, how we're going to be going forward over the next 2 days. And my primary goal there is to assure you that our intent is to submit this case to you for your decision tomorrow afternoon. Cases at this juncture involve great logistical challenge that are beyond the control of the attorneys. They do the best they can, but witnesses will be called who are either at or coming from very far away places, and you all are aware of what is involved with travel. So therefore, what's going to happen this morning, we're going to have some very brief testimony this morning. We're going to break. We're going to start this afternoon at 1 o'clock. We're going to have some testimony this afternoon. And then after that, we'll break. We'll come back tomorrow morning, have some testimony in the morning. And then the goal would be to submit the case to you with arguments and instructions on the law in the afternoon with the cases submitted to you. The reason I'm telling you that is I anticipate some of these breaks could be significant beyond what we would normally have done during the guilt phase. So I just want you to be prepared for that, and also not to concern yourself with it, just to be patient. But I think it'll help you being patient if you know the grand scheme as far as when the case will be submitted to you, which is tomorrow. So I believe your participation in this matter will be ended tomorrow afternoon. That's the schedule. So now that I've explained that, members of the jury, you have found the defendant guilty of 1 count of first-degree murder of Tania Wise and 1 count of first-degree murder of her unborn child. The only issue before you in this phase of the trial is to determine the appropriate penalty as to these crimes. The penalty for each of these crimes is either life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Before proceeding further, it will be helpful if you understand how this proceeding will be conducted. The attorneys will have an opportunity, if they wish, to make an opening statement. The opening statement gives the attorneys a chance to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during the penalty phase of this trial. As you know, what the lawyers say during opening statements is not evidence, and you are not to consider it as such. After the attorneys have had the opportunity to present their opening statements, the state and the defendant may present evidence. Witnesses may be called to testify under oath. If so, they will be examined and may be cross-examined by the attorneys. Documents and other exhibits also may be produced as evidence. This evidence, along with the evidence that you heard during the guilt phase of this trial, is presented for you to determine whether the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the alleged aggravating factors. If so, you must weigh whether the proven aggravating factors are sufficient and whether the aggravating factors outweigh any mitigating circumstances the defendant proves by the greater weight of the evidence. Finally, you will decide whether the defendant should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole or to death. At the conclusion of the evidence and after argument of counsel, you will be instructed on the law that will guide your deliberations. An aggravating factor is the only circumstance recognized by Florida law that could result in a defendant receiving the death penalty. An aggravating factor increases the gravity of a crime or the harm to a victim beyond the harm inherent in every first-degree murder. You must unanimously agree that an aggravating factor was proven beyond a reasonable doubt before it may be considered by you in arriving at your sentencing decision. The aggravating factors alleged by the state in this case as to both victims are: 1, as to both victims, that the defendant was contemporaneously convicted of another capital felony. This is based on the conviction as to the victim involved in the other count. As to both victims, the capital felony was committed for financial gain. That's number 2. Number 3, as to both victims, the first-degree murder was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. The term cold means the murder was the product of calm and cool reflection. The term calculated means having a careful plan or prearranged design to commit murder. A killing is premeditated if it occurs after the defendant consciously decides to kill. The decision must be present in the mind at the time of the killing. The law does not fix the exact period of time that must pass between the formation of the premeditated intent to kill and the killing. The period of time must be long enough to allow reflection by the defendant. The premeditated intent to kill must be formed before the killing. However, in order for this aggravating factor to apply, a heightened level of premeditation, demonstrated by a substantial period of reflection, is required. A pretense of moral or legal justification is any claim of justification or excuse that, though insufficient to reduce the degree of murder, nevertheless rebuts the otherwise cold, calculated, or premeditated nature of the murder. And aggravating factor number 4 relates only to count 2, the first-degree murder of the unborn child, and that is the victim of the capital felony was a person less than 12 years of age. Once the state has presented evidence of the existence of aggravating factors, victim impact evidence may be presented. Such evidence is only presented to demonstrate the victim's uniqueness as an individual and the loss to the community by the victim's death. However, victim impact evidence must not be considered by you as an aggravating factor. Mitigating circumstances. A mitigating circumstance can be anything that might indicate the death penalty is not appropriate for the defendant. It is not limited to the facts surrounding the crime. In other words, a mitigating circumstance may include any aspect of the defendant's character, background, or life, or any circumstance of the offense that may indicate the death penalty is not an appropriate sentence in this case. Whether a mitigating circumstance has been proven is an individual judgment by each juror. A mitigating circumstance need not be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, but must be proven by the greater weight of the evidence. After the evidence has been presented, the attorneys will have the opportunity to make their closing arguments. Following the closing arguments by the attorneys, the court will instruct you on the law. After the final instructions are given, the alternate jurors will be released, and you will begin your deliberations. You should not form any definite or fixed opinion until you've heard all the evidence, the arguments of the lawyers, and my instructions on the law. Once again, until that time, you should not discuss the case among yourselves or anyone else by any means whatsoever. Your decision must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence and the law. The same rules and procedures regarding your possession and use of cell phones apply to this phase of the trial as well. At the end of the case, while you
Okay, my laptop's going wonky, so I can't type. All I want to say is it depends on the library. Some libraries you can check out as many books as you want, and other libraries have a limit. Sorry, replay crew. They're having a discussion in the chat about how many library books you can check out.
deliberating, you must not communicate with anyone outside the jury room, and you cannot have in the jury room any cell phones, computers, or other electronic devices other than those that we would provide to you as we did in the guilt phase. Once again, you must not conduct any investigation of your own. The same rules of this case, a defendant has the absolute right to remain silent. From the exercise of a defendant's right to remain silent, a jury is not permitted to draw any inference regarding the existence of an aggravating factor or an appropriate sentence, and the fact that a defendant did not take the witness stand must not influence your sentencing decision in any manner whatsoever. We now begin with the opening statements of the attorneys, and the state may proceed with its opening statement.
Morning, everyone. All right, so as you've already found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder of Tania Wise and first-degree murder of what would be her second son, the defendant's fifth child, Josiah Wise. And as the judge just explained to you, all of the evidence that was introduced during the guilt phase applies in the penalty phase. So all of the evidence that you learned, all of the testimony, that all applies in this case. And if you need to bring it, it'll go back with you again if you need it. So what is the first step that we talked about? And this goes back to jury selection. The state has to prove each of the aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt. And what you'll see when you go back and you think about the evidence that from the guilt phase applies to this case is that has all been proven. Each one of those have been proven by beyond a reasonable doubt. And the judge talked to you about 4 different factors. 3 of them apply to both victims. And when we talk about both counts are independent of themselves. The defendant can get a death sentence on both counts. He can get a death sentence on one or the other. He can get death for first-degree murder of an unborn child, or he can get the death sentence on just Tania Wise. He can get life on both counts. That's your decision. But what the evidence that was presented in this case already shows is that each and every one of those aggravating factors has already been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And when you use your common sense, it's pretty clear. Because what's the first one? Contemporaneous, there's a capital conviction. Both of the murders you've already found him guilty of. That's what that factor is. It's been proven you've already found him guilty of both murders at the same time of both the victims. That factor's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. What's the next one? Financial gain. How has that been proven? He told us, garbage truck. I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose it. He needs to stop this before he has another child. It's going to ruin his marriage. It's going to cost him money. There's a potential for there to be a separation. He's got a new child to take care of. He wanted to eliminate the possibility of his wife finding out in the existence of him having another child. He did this for a financial gain. He tells Eric Alvarado days and times over and over again, what is his situation? It's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. The fourth one that applies to just the victim, once again, you use your common sense. You think about this, the victim was less than 12. We know the gestational age of the baby. She was 8 months pregnant. Once again, the evidence has already been presented in this case. So that should be those 3, and calculated and premeditated. And the judge, he defined those to you. Cold is a cool, calm reflection. Let's go back to the garbage truck video. He planned this out for days. Over and over again. He drives around in his garbage truck discussing, Should I do it this way? Should I blow her brains out? Should I choke her? Would it be easier to get it done with one blow and be done this? He's going to the body. Is anyone going to find her out here? He thinks about what her life is like. No one's going to be looking for her. He talks about how he's going to lure her out there. It's all been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Any one of the 4 aggravating factors in and of justify the death, if you go through the whole process and you follow the laws instructed by the judge, all 4 of them can. Each one is independent of itself, and the first step is, do you find that there are aggravating factors? And the evidence shows yes. All 4 of them are there. Now, do those aggravating factors justify the death penalty? Yes. I encourage you that they do. And when you go back and you look at all of the evidence in this case, you look at the aggravating factors, you consider the mitigating circumstances, the appropriate sentence is the death penalty in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. And the defense is going to push me the opening statement this time, Mr. Burrows.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. Good morning. I have waited long to address you, but more about that later. The state will, I think, likely prove, probably already has, that this killing was done coldly and calculatedly and premeditatedly. I think they're going to prove that to you. So I think you probably will have an aggravator in your pocket. And I think regarding the victim, Josiah, who looked in the autopsy photos so much to me like a newborn baby, I think you're certainly going to find that he is under the age of 12. And this is the opportunity where I will tell you what the mitigate witnesses will be and who they say, and I'd love to tell you all about it, but don't. Since the conviction, hey, they won't be here. Victims of their own moral cowardice, in my opinion. I could compel their appearance by subpoena, but I'm here to beg for manslaughter. So I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen beyond this afternoon. This afternoon, I will present a witness. His name is Raul Banasco. He is an expert in prisons, in the Florida prison system. If you do vote to condemn him to death, I think your knowledge and common sense tells you that he will exist as a prisoner for years until that happens. And if you should vote for life without possibility of parole, then he will exist in prison forever and ever. Raul Banasco will tell you how that might be, so that you have a fuller picture there. You will also hear from a lady who knew Jose a long time ago, knew him well, knew him intimately. She will come in and testify. She, at least, is not afraid of what people on social media might say about her. She will come in difficult circumstances and tell you a little bit more about her. That's all I have for this afternoon. The judge mentioned travel problems. That's my witnesses. We have a problem wrangling them and getting them here from Connecticut. I do expect that we are going to have some of Jose's family members arrive this afternoon in Palm Beach. We will speak to them this evening. The state will have a chance to speak to them tomorrow, and you will hear from 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe all 4 of them tomorrow. I'm not sure how many are actually going to get on the plane. And so I don't want to leave you in a mystery. I wish I could tell you who's going to be here and what they're going to say, but you and I will learn together probably. But the thrust of the matter is that you will have plenty of mitigators to consider. And because I am missing witnesses, will probably alter and enlarge some portions of my intended argument that will be addressing what it might mean to you and how you will make your moral decision. As you have learned in jury selection, it's your own personal moral decision. I'm going to offer you, how about that, some guidance in that way. So you will hear some witnesses for the defense this afternoon. I think you will hear from some of Jose's family members tomorrow. And then I think you're going to be making your decision or retiring to deliberate about it at some point tomorrow. That's all I have for you right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. And the state may proceed with its case.
Yes, sir. The people of the state of Florida call Elizabeth Bedolla.
Buckle up.
No, if you stop right here, raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Over that. You stand.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You've testified before, but go ahead and state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Elizabeth Bedolla. It's Bedolla.
Okay. And again, just for the sake of clarity, go ahead and state your relationship with Tania Wise.
Tania was my daughter.
Okay. And did you prepare a written victim impact statement?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court's Exhibit Number 1. You recognize this statement?
Yes.
Is that the statement that you prepared for the jury today?
Yes.
Okay. When you feel like you're ready, please go ahead and read that statement to the jury.
Marty, that was the greatest thing ever.
My name is Elizabeth Bedolla, and I am the mother of Tania Wise and the grandmother of her unborn son, Josiah Thomas Wise. I am here to speak about the loss of my Tania and Josiah and how their death has forever changed my life and my family's life. Tania was lovable, caring, a devoted mother. She had a beautiful soul and was always willing to help and take care of her family. She enjoyed being a mother more than anything in the world. She loved spending time with her son Jamar, playing with him, cheering for him in all his events, and making sure he always felt loved and supported. Tania was so excited about becoming a mother again. She always spoke about giving birth and how great of a mother she would be once more. She had so many dreams for Jamar and Josiah, dreams of raising them, guiding them, creating happy life together. Those dreams were stolen from her, from us, from the child who will never have a chance to grow up with his loving mother. Every memory with Tania was special. I clearly remember the last time we were together as a family. Her stepdad, her son, Tania, and I went to the beach. We laughed, we played, we had so much fun. It was one of the happiest days we had together, and I will cherish it forever. Another beautiful moment that I remember was her baby shower, surrounded by family, celebrating new life that we were waiting for to welcome. Those were the last 2 times we had with Tania. That were memories I will hold on in my heart for the rest of my life. The emotional impact of losing my Tania and Josiah, it's unbearable. I cannot sleep at night. When I do, the nightmares are horrific.
I expected more anger for some reason.
Birthdays, holidays, and simple dinners bring so much emptiness, loneliness, and pain because she's not there. I'm unable to function properly at work or in my daily life. I miss her so much. My baby girl. She was my baby girl, my only girl. And losing her has broken me in many ways I cannot explain. The grief is overwhelming. I live in constant pain, not only in my body, but also in my heart. A heart that never goes away. It never goes away. I'm angry. I'm angry because I don't have Tania and Josiah here with me to love and joy and share my life with every day. They should have been here. Instead, I'm left with grief, sadness, and memories. That anger is part of my pain, and it will never leave me. I still have problems accepting that she's gone. I catch myself thinking that she will be here with us tomorrow, and that I hear her voice or see her smile. But tomorrow comes, and she's still not there. That reality is crushing, and it's something that I struggle with for the rest of my life. Her son, Jamar, who was only 8 years old at the time of her mother's murder, misses his mom every single day. The sadness and the trauma that this has caused him is something no child should ever have to carry. Jamar struggled with the loss deeply, and it breaks my heart to see him growing up without his mother's love, guidance, and presence in his life. Our house was one full of laughter and energy, and it's now quiet. Tania was the life of our home, with her smile, her joy, and the way she played all around with Jamar. Now the light is gone, and our home feels dark and empty without her. The pain is not mine alone. Tania's stepfather, her son, brothers, grandparents, aunt, uncle, and cousins are all suffering as well. Many of us are battling depression, trauma, PTSD because of this tragedy. Our entire family has shattered, and the weight of the grief follows us every single day. The stress of losing Tania and Josiah has also affected my health. I have a heart condition that has grown worse because of the grief and the stress I carry every day. The strategy has taken serious toll on my body, broken, and has also broken my spirit. And it's not just me, it has also taken physical and emotional impact on our son, Jamar. I grapples daily with the loss of Tania, his mother. I wonder how the future will be. And I wonder how Jamar will grow up without his Tania. And how our family will find a way to live with this emptiness. Nothing feels certain anymore without her. The future we imagine is gone. And we're left trying to survive in a world that feels hopeless and broken. Tania has already missed so much, and she will continue to miss every important milestone in Jamar's life. She She will not be there for his accomplishments, his graduation, even his wedding day one day. She will never get a chance to hold her grandchild. These are moments that should have been hers as a mother, but they have been stolen from her and from all of us. Nothing can bring Tania and Josiah back. The future we dreamed of, the milestones, the celebrations, the simple everyday moments have been stolen from us. I will never see my daughter raise her children. I will never see my daughter raise her children. And I will never get to hold my grandson. I lost is permanent. And it has changed me and my family forever. The death of my pain and devastating impact of this crime has had on me and my family the most important, but most importantly, my grandson, who will now be come into a life without a mother, is simply unfathomable. We will live with this grief for the rest of our life. What happened to my Tania and Josiah will affect me forever. And I don't know how to live without her. She was my baby girl, my only girl. I will carry this pain every single day of my life. Nothing will ever take away this grief, the anger and the emptiness that their loss has left me behind. In the end, 2 innocent lives have been stolen from us, and we will never fully recover from this loss.
Ma'am, I want to show you what has been marked as court exhibit, photo composite, court exhibit number 1. Are these 30 photographs of Tania that show her throughout her life?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And do all these photos show Tanya at various stages of her life?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
Any objection to introducing the item and publishing it?
No, Your Honor.
Those items will be introduced into evidence and published. And you may step down. And the state's next witness.
Yes, sir. People say the Florida called Tracy Hamill. Tracy Hamill.
Let's see. Hold on.
Tracy Hamill.
Does she need to be sworn?
I don't know who the witness is or what your plan is, so it depends on.
Victim advocate who's going to read several victim impact statements.
So she would not be sworn at this time. She's going to simply be reading a statement of another person, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's not sworn testimony. She can simply read the document.
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Tracy Hamill, Hamel.
Okay, and what do you do for a living?
I'm a victim's advocate at the state attorney's office.
Okay, and as part of your duties as a victim's advocate, do you sometimes read prepared statements for those people who may not be in an emotional position to do so for themselves?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court's Exhibit Number 2 for identification purposes. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
This is Lenora Bedola's victim impact statement.
Can you go ahead and please read that for me?
Yes. My name is Lenora Bedola. I am Tanya's stepsister, as well as her best friend. I am here to speak on behalf of myself, my family, and the loss we have all suffered since Tanya and her unborn child Josiah were taken from us. Tanya was a loving mother, a hard-working woman, and a bright light in all of our lives. She had an incredible sense of humor that made everyone around her feel at ease. She was so smart and resourceful, always looking out for others and putting them first. But above all, Tania was my safe person. She was the one that I could confide in, the one who always knew how to make me laugh or comfort me when I was struggling. I told her everything, my joys, my worries, my fears. Not being able to speak to her anymore has left a hole in my heart that nothing can fill. Since her death, I have cried every day. I wake up with the ache of her absence, knowing that my kids will never get to spend time with their TT Tiny. We won't be able to go to the beach together again or share simple moments like going to the mall or eating out with our kids. I moved to Florida for the summer just to be closer to her, hoping we could make more memories, and now I'm left with the empty space she once filled so effortlessly. The pain of not having her here is unbearable. I miss the small things, the smell of her hair when she got out of the shower, her smile, and the warmth of her hugs. These are things I will never get to experience again, and it hurts more than I can express. Life is not the same without Tania. It will never be the same. There is a constant weight of sadness in everything I do, and I feel lost without her by my side. She was a part of my everyday, and now that part is gone. This profound loss that has shattered our family. Tania was not just a victim of this crime. She was a daughter, a mother, a sister, and a friend. Josiah, her unborn child, was a life we all looked forward to, and his loss is felt deeply. We are left behind with an emptiness that words can barely capture. I will carry the pain of losing Tania with me for the rest of my life, but I will also carry the love she gave. She was taken from us far too soon, and nothing will ever fill the void she has left.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as court exhibit number 3. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is the victim impact statement for Michael Reveron.
Okay, can you go ahead, please read that when you're ready?
Yes. My name is Michael Reveron, and I am the proud older brother of Tania Wise. Tania wasn't just my sister. She was one of the strongest, most caring people I've ever known. She had this rare gift of being the life of the party wherever she went. Her laugh was loud, her smile was real, and she had a way of lighting up a room just by walking in. But beyond all the fun and energy, she had a heart full of love for her family and friends. Even though I was the older brother, Tania always acted like she was my second mom. She looked out for me in ways I didn't always notice at the time, but I feel every day now. She would show up at my job just to take me out to lunch. She would also come to my job just to spend time with me, sometimes staying for hours just to talk, laugh, and be together. She always offered support, encouragement, or simply a listening ear whenever I needed it. Some of my favorite memories are the simple ones. We used to go to the movies together, just me, Tania, and my nephew Jamar. We'd laugh, share snacks, and just enjoy being around each other. That was our thing. It was peaceful. It was fun. Birthdays and holidays still feel empty, even after all these years without her laughter and presence. What used to be moments of joy are now constant reminders of what we have lost. Losing Tania has left me broken in ways that are hard to write. I feel anger, sadness, and emptiness all at once. I feel like a part of me is missing. I struggle to focus and to move forward because so much of my strength and happiness came from her. Even as her older brother, she made me feel grounded. Some days I find myself grabbing my phone trying to call her to tell her about my day. On top of the grief, I now live with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and nightmares because of what happened to her. I relive the pain over and over in my mind, and some nights I wake up shaking and crying. It has taken a serious toll on my mental health, my sleep, and my ability to function day to day. The future has been forever changed without Tanya. I think about all the milestones she will never get to experience. She will never see her nieces and nephews grow up or witness all the things they will accomplish. She will never meet her grandchild. She will miss the wedding we always joked I'd never have. I will never get to meet my unborn nephew or see all the great things he would have done. For me, I will never again have my sister, best friend to share memories with or to laugh with. Her absence leaves a void in my life that can never be filled. I hope that by sharing who Tanya was and how she lived, that the court understands the depth of loss. We're not just grieving her absence, everything she would have continued to be: a loving mother, a joyful sister, a loyal friend, and a light in our lives. This is just about the life that was taken from Tanya and my unborn nephew, but the lasting impact their loss has had on me, my family, and all who love them. No words can fully capture the pain, emptiness, and grief we carry every day. Depth of our loss knows no bottom or end.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court Exhibit 4. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It's the victim impact statement for Reyes Bedolla.
Okay, and when you're ready, you go ahead and read that quickly.
My name is Reyes Bedolla. I am the stepfather of Tania Wise and the grandfather of her unborn son, Josiah Thomas Wise. I would like to talk about how much I miss them and how hard it is to live without them. Tanya was amazing, funny, helpful. She was a bundle of joy. She was a loving, caring, and devoted mother who loved to play around with her son. Everywhere she went, she would smile. She was always there giving a helping hand to the family. She touched everyone with her kindness. We had built a strong bond. I knew her dream and what she wanted to do with her life, and I was going to be there every step of the way to support her. Her life was about her children and raising them. Losing her in this way has left me with a pain that never ends. I looked forward to welcoming my grandson, Josiah, into the world, but am now heartbroken as I have to come to terms with the fact that this will never happen. All I am left with are dreams of what he would be like today. Every time I see somebody else with a child, I imagine my beloved grandson and wonder about the things that could have been. I would have loved to watch Josiah take his first steps, play sports, and grow into a man. I will never hold him, play with him, or even spoil him, and he will never call Grandpa. I am so hurt my life will never be the same. I am raising Tanya's son Jamar, and I see how he suffers for his mother. This emptiness that my family and I can never be filled. I ask myself, why are Tanya and Josiah? We struggle to move forward every day. I remember going to the beach with my wife, Tanya, and her son Jamar. It was all about spending quality time together, and we all planned our future. Our conversation were all about family. I don't have this anymore. I have never been able to go back to a fun day at the beach as our family feels like we are not complete and are broken, and we are trying to piece it together to continue our next day. Our family is struggling to move forward while trying to honor their memory. Nothing will ever be the same.
And the people of the state of Florida call Johnny Reveron.
So if you raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Please swear affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Yes, it's Johnny Revron. Last name's Reveron.
Okay, and did you know Tania Wise?
Yes, she was my sister.
Your sister, okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as court exhibit number 5. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that the statement you prepared?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and read that to the jury.
Yes, sir. My name is Johnny Revron. I am Tanya's older brother. I stand before you today to speak not only for myself, but for my family and for Tanya's unborn child, who was never given a chance at life. The loss of my sister has devastated every part of my life. Tanya was not just my sister. She was my friend, a piece of my heart. She was carrying her child with such joy and anticipation. That child should be here with us, loved and cherished. But this life was taken before it even began. Just a month before this tragedy, Tanya and I spoke after she started working at the same company where I work. We talked about her excitement for this new chapter and how much she was looking forward to building her future. I never imagined that it would be one of the last meaningful conversations I'd have with her. Since her murder, my world has been turned upside down. I wake up every day with a heavy heart, knowing I may never hear Tanya's laugh, see her smile, or share the simple everyday moments that brothers and sisters are supposed to have. Holidays, birthdays, and family moments now filled with pain because Tanya and her baby should be here with us. This tragedy has not only caused unbearable emotional pain, it's left lasting scars on my family's sense of security, stability, and peace. I struggle with grief, anger, and unanswered questions. I have lost sleep. I have lost hope. And I will carry this pain for the rest of my life. Tanya and her baby deserve to live. They deserved a future full of love and opportunity. Instead, what remains is a permanent void in my heart and in my family's life. Thank you for allowing me to share on how much I miss my sister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. People in the state of Florida call Yaritza Irizarry.
Just raise your right hand and please.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And over the witness.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell both your first and your last name, please?
Jaritza Irizarry, Jaritza. Last name Irizarry.
Okay. And did you know Tania Wise?
Yes, she was my niece.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as court exhibit number 6. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is that the statement that you prepared to deliver to the jury?
Yes.
Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and read that to the jury, please.
Your Honor, my name is Jaritza Irizarry, and I am the aunt of Tanya. To me, she was more than a niece. She was like a daughter. Tanya was a beautiful, loving young woman whose life was taken from us in the most painful and senseless way. Her death has left us a permanent hole in my heart and in the heart of my family. Tanya was a devoted mother. She loved her son Jamar with everything she had. And she was overjoyed to be pregnant with another baby Josiah. Not long before her murder, I hosted her baby shower. I could still picture that day, glowing with happiness, surrounded by her family, smiling as she opened gifts for her baby.
She was so full of hope for the future, so excited about raising her children, and so ready to begin a new chapter of her life. But that joy and that future were stolen from her, from Jamar, from all of us. Jamar has to grow up without his mother, and Josiah never even had the chance to take his first breath. Her loss has shattered our entire family. My sister, her mother, is broken. No parent should ever have to bury their child, and watching her live with this pain has been unbearable. Every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering feels incomplete without Tania. There is always an empty chair and a silence where her laughter should be. For me, it's the everyday moments I miss the most. We shared so many simple joys together, taking the kids to the beach, going shopping, eating out, or just cooking her favorite meal. I miss sitting with her, talking and joking around. She had this way of making everything seem better. No matter what I was going through, at times I wanted to pick up the phone and call her to tell her everything, like what I always did. But now there is only a silence. Those ordinary times that once brought me comfort and happiness now feel heavy and empty without her. The pain of losing Tania has affected me deeply, both emotionally and physically. I cry without warning. I struggle to focus to find joy in the things I once loved. I suffer from sleepless nights, nightmares, and anxiety. The grief sits in my body like a weight, leaving me exhausted and drained. A part of me died with her, and I will never be the same. The crime didn't just take one life, it took two. Tania's life was taken, and so was baby Josiah's before he ever had the chance to live. Jamar lost his mother, my sister lost her daughter, and I lost someone who was like my own child. Our family has been torn apart, and the pain we carry will never go away. Respectfully, Charitza Rosari.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And people say Florida called Jamar Manoa Wise.
Do you swear affirm that evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Over that way to witness.
Morning.
Morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Jamar Bedolla, Bedolla.
Okay. And what is your relationship to Tania Wise?
She was my mother.
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court's Exhibit number 7 for identification purposes. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is that the statement that you prepared?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, can you go ahead and please read that to the jury?
Hello, I'm Jamar, and I'm the son of Tania Esther Wise, who was taken from us. My mother was the closest person to me, and she was like my best friend. Also, she was always there for me. I'm here to share a few to honor my mother and talk about how I was affected. Ever since that day, there's been many different, ever since that day, there have been many different ways that I've been affected emotionally. For example, I've developed depression, sleeping problems, and anxiety. Losing her made me go faster than I should have. I used to hide my pain and try dealing with it on my own, and to protect myself from getting hurt more than I was, and I didn't like talking about what was wrong with me. Every day, I think about how she won't be able to see what I've accomplished and what I will accomplish in the future. She's already missed some of my milestones that I've reached, and I think that she would have been proud of them. I wish that she could have met my first girlfriend and watched me perform in my musical performances for my school. I'm in marching band,
My mom was also musically inclined. She played the clarinet, and I hope that she would be proud of who I've become. On that day, I lost more than a mother. I also lost the chance to have my mother watch me grow, and I hope that she's proud of me for coming here and talking about how this has affected me. I choose to honor my mother because she was one of the most, if not the most important people who has been in my life. Thank you.
That will conclude the evidence from the state.
Members of the jury, that concludes the state's part of the evidentiary portion of this penalty phase. As I mentioned, we're going to break at this time till 1 o'clock. Please remember the rules regarding communication. Don't discuss this case with anyone, including your fellow jurors. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll reconvene at 1 o'clock. And please leave your notes on your chairs.
I know the state for the photos composite was 1, but I already had a 1. Can this be 1A? Can I make this 1A?
What was 1?
1 was her Mr. Dola's statement, impact statement.
Yes. Going to make the 1A. Now, some of these items I think came into evidence, but some were just court's exhibits. Is that right?
Yeah, all of them.
They're all court's exhibits. So what I mentioned before, as far as the other one coming to evidence, just strike that. They'll all be court's exhibits. Okay. All right. And anything else for us to take before we break and come back at 1 o'clock?
Not from the defense, Judge.
Okay.
Nothing from the
State,
state.
all right, we'll see you at 1 o'clock, and we have the Zoom working. I emailed you the message about the interpreter being here tomorrow. She's going to be here, Miss
Thank you.
Valdez, so that should not be a problem at 8:30. And enjoy your lunch. We'll see you at 1 o'clock.
All of these was admitted.
Whew. And he thought no one would miss her. He said she's not the kind of person that people will look for her. Wow. Boy, was he wrong. I did not expect her son to have a victim impact statement. Wow. That was sad. That was really, really sad. Okay, so now, what time is it? 10:30. Oh, good, we haven't missed a whole lot. Now we're going to go to Tennessee. We've been all over the country today. For the Baby in the River murder trial. And then we will jump back over to this at 1. And then that's going to be short, I think. So then we'll jump back to Tennessee after that. We're just going to jump all over the place today. So this will redirect you. Should redirect you. And now we're going to Tennessee. So I will see you guys in a few minutes. Bye.